Will Tyreek Hill play in Week 1? Latest injury news ahead of Dolphins vs. Colts. Miami Dolphins wide receiver Tyreek Hill is dealing with an apparent oblique injury and was a limited participant in Thursday's practice. The Miami Dolphins found themselves in a seemingly tough spot ever since wide receiver Tyreek Hill suffered an oblique injury that kept him out of an August 6 practice and all three of the team's preseason games. Miami Dolphins wide receiver Tyreek Hill, 10, throws the football on the sidelines during the first half of an NFL preseason football game against the Jacksonville Jaguars, Saturday, August 23, 2025, in Miami Gardens. The team has repeatedly maintained that Hill's injury is a result of repeated overuse and is being taken care of fully. Mild strains are something that NFL players are expected to deal with and play through on a regular basis. His absence from games so far may be more of a precautionary measure than a matter of serious concern, as reported by Sportsbook Review. He's trying to practice, Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel said earlier this month, according to David Furwans of the South Florida Sun-Sentinel. He's working through an oblique that got worse because he was taking every rep that was on the books. He's trying to sneak his way into every rep. Hill's agent, Drew Rosenhaus, said that Hill will be ready to play Week 1 on WSVN 7 Miami on August 24th, when the Miami Dolphins take on the Colts in Indianapolis, according to Barry Jackson of the Miami Herald. Despite the team refusing to put an exact timeline on Hill's return to the field, oblique injuries are usually expected to heal in 1 to 2 weeks, trade rumors. Despite the Dolphins' insistence on keeping Hill as part of their roster, multiple NFL teams have now started circling close in hopes of convincing a trade deal. As the wide receiver's playing status currently remains uncertain thanks to his injury, teams hope that this might be leverage enough for the Dolphins to be convinced into a trade option. If his injury were to be prolonged or if the team's offense stalls early in the season, a possible, and high-stakes, trade may not be completely off the table. The 5-time All-Pro and 8-time Pro Bowl selection has 798 receptions for 11,098 yards and 82 touchdowns in 141 career regular season games, 123 starts, with the Kansas City Chiefs, 2016-21, and Dolphins, as reported by Reuters. Hill has another 96 receptions for 1,212 yards and 6 TDS, and 96 yards rushing and 1 TD in 15 playoff games, 14 starts, winning the Super Bowl with the Chiefs in the 2019 season. The Dolphins are scheduled to face the Indianapolis Colts in their regular season opener on September 7th. The first Sunday of the NFL season always carries its own electricity. Stadium gates open wide, fans rush in with jerseys freshly bought or dusted off from last season, and the sound of helmets clashing echoes like a signal that football is back. For the Miami Dolphins, Week 1 against the Indianapolis Colts is more than just another kickoff. It's the start of a journey in which expectations ride high. But there's a single question overshadowing everything in Miami this week. Will Tyreek Hill play? The Cheetah Factor. Tyreek Hill, nicknamed the Cheetah, has built a career on doing the impossible. From Kansas City to Miami, he's been the receiver who turns broken plays into highlight reels and defenses into memes. The Dolphins' offense looks different when Hill is on the field, faster, scarier, and practically unstoppable when paired with quarterback Tua Tagovailoa. But now, whispers of a lingering injury hang over the team. Hill tweaked something in training camp, and though early reports downplayed the severity, fans have been glued to every update. One day he's jogging off the field with a grin. The next he's listed as limited participant in practice. Dolphins Nation is left balancing between optimism and worry. A cloud of uncertainty. Injury reports in the NFL are like riddles. Coaches hedge their words, reporters dissect body language, and fans become amateur medical experts overnight. With Hill, the updates have been just vague enough to stir debate. Coach Mike McDaniel's poker face. McDaniel insists Hill is progressing well but avoids confirming his Week 1 status. It's classic coach speak, but Dolphins fans know to read between the lines. Practice glimpses. Cameras caught Hill stretching with teammates, but not running at full throttle. For a player whose superpower is speed, anything less than 100% raises concern. Fantasy football frenzy. Across ESPN, Sleeper, and Yahoo leagues, managers are holding their breath. Tyreek isn't just a receiver, he's often the first-round anchor of fantasy squads. One absence could tilt matchups everywhere. Dolphins versus Colts, why it matters. This isn't just another opener. The Dolphins, fresh off a playoff berth last season, have aspirations of dethroning the Chiefs and Bills. Beating the Colts would set the tone for that mission. The Colts, meanwhile, are retooling with young quarterback Anthony Richardson. Their defense is athletic but vulnerable, the kind of matchup where Tyreek Hill could feast with 150-plus yards if healthy. Without him, Miami's offense leans heavier on Jalen Waddle, the run game, and schemed creativity. It's not just about one player, it's about identity. With Hill, the Dolphins are a Ferrari, sleek and explosive. Without him, they are still a strong machine, but one missing its turbo engine. What happens if Hill sits? Let's play out the what-if. If Tyreek Hill is ruled out, Miami has options. Jalen Waddle takes center stage. The speedy WR2 has WR1 talent. He'd become Tua's go-to option, with more targets funneled his way. The tight ends and running backs step up. Expect McDaniel to dial up creative screens, misdirections, and motion plays to compensate for lost explosiveness. The defense carries more weight. Miami's revamped secondary and aggressive front would need to limit Richardson and force turnovers. It wouldn't be the first time the Dolphins adapted without Hill, but it would test how well-rounded this roster really is. The psychology of the moment. For players, Week 1 is more mental than physical. It's about momentum, confidence, and setting a tone. Tyreek Hill knows this. He's a competitor who thrives on spotlight moments, whether it's torching a cornerback for 70 yards or taunting defenders with a peace sign mid-stride. Sitting out would frustrate him. But at the same time, veterans understand the long game. Missing 1 week to avoid missing 8 is a trade most stars will make. The Dolphins' medical staff surely preaches caution. After all, a hamstring injury that lingers into October could derail an entire season. Fan reactions. On social media, Dolphins fans are divided. The optimists. He'll play. No way Tyreek sits out Week 1. Man's a beast. The realists. Better to rest him. We can still beat the Colts without him. We need him healthy for Week 2 against tougher competition. The worriers. Why are we cursed? First it was offensive line concerns, now Hill. Lord help us. The truth likely sits somewhere in between. Colts perspective. You can bet the Colts are preparing 2 game plans, one with Hill, one without. Defensive coordinator Gus Bradley knows the nightmare scenario. Hill torching their secondary with double moves and Tua's quick release neutralizing the pass rush.